If you're new to product management, one of the most confusing questions you hear is what exactly is product discovery and what do product managers actually do at this stage? In this lesson, I'm going to break down product discovery step by step. We'll go beyond definitions and we'll explain how product managers think, how they talk to users, how they validate problems, and how they decide what is actually worth building before any design or development begins. Okay, so let's dive in. Firstly, we must understand what product discovery is. Product discovery is the discipline of learning before building. As a product manager, your first responsibility is not to create features, but to deeply understand people and their problems. Many products fail not because the technology is bad, but because the product solves a problem that is not important or not real. Product discovery exists to reduce that risk. In simple terms, product discovery answers one big question. Are we building the right thing? Before we write code, design screens, or spend money, we pause to learn. We study users, their behaviors, and their frustrations. If we get this stage right, every stage after becomes easier. If we skip it, even a well built product can fail. So, why does product discovery matter? We know time and money are limited. Product discovery helps teams avoid wasting both. Without discovery, teams often build based on assumptions, personal opinions, or excitement about an idea. This usually leads to products nobody uses. Product discovery forces us to slow down and validate our thinking. It helps us confirm that the problem is real, painful, and worth solving. Companies that practice strong product discovery consistently outperform those that don't because they build products grounded in real user needs rather than guesses. Now that we understand why product discovery matters, let's look at how it is actually done in practice. Product discovery is not random, it's not just talking to users once. It follows a structured process that helps product managers move from assumptions to evidence. These steps you're seeing are the high level product discovery flow used in real product teams. You don't have to memorize them yet. The goal here is to see the journey from start to finish. We begin with a problem hypothesis, which is simply an assumption about a user problem. From there, we clearly define who the user is and then talk to real people to understand their experiences. As we gather feedback, we look for patterns, validate whether the problem is serious enough to solve, and clearly define the problem so the entire team is aligned. Only after all of that do we explore solutions, test ideas cheaply, and finally decide what the minimum viable product or MVP should be. What's important to understand is that product discovery is not a straight line. Teams often move back and forth between these steps as they learn more. In the next slides, we'll go through each of these steps one by one and explain exactly how product managers do them in the real world. So, the first step is to start with the problem hypothesis. Product discovery always begins with assumptions. As PMs, we usually believe a certain group of people has a problem. This belief is called a problem hypothesis. It's not a fact yet. It is something you test. For example, you might believe that small business owners struggle to track daily sales accurately. At this stage, you're not proposing an app or a feature. You're simply stating what you think the problem is. Product discovery is about proving or disproving this hypothesis using evidence. So the second step is to define the user clearly. Product discovery only works when we clearly define who the user is. Saying everyone is a common beginner mistake. Different users have different problems, behaviors, and needs. PMs describe users in detail, what they do daily, where they work, what tools they use, and what frustrates them. The clearer the user definition, the better the discovery outcomes. If you talk to the wrong users, your product decisions will be wrong. So the next step is to talk to real users. You must conduct interviews, carry out research, speak with them to really know their pains. So this step is one of the most important parts of product discovery. PMs talk directly to real users through interviews, calls, chats, or observation. The goal here is to understand how users currently experience the problem. PMs avoid pitching ideas. Instead, they ask users to describe past experiences, what they did, what was difficult, and how they solved it. This helps uncover true behavior, not hypothetical opinions. Listening carefully is more important than talking. So the next step is to identify patterns and insights after speaking with users. So after speaking with users, PMs analyze what they heard. One person's complaint is not enough. Discovery is about patterns. If many users describe the same frustration or workaround, it becomes a strong insight. PMs document these patterns and use them as evidence. Good product decisions are based on repeated signals, not isolated feedback or personal beliefs. So the next step is to validate the problem. Not every problem deserves a product. PMs evaluate whether the problem is painful enough and frequent enough to solve. A strong problem affects users regularly and causes stress, loss, or inefficiency. If users already spend time, money, or efforts trying to fix the problem, that is a strong validation signal. If users say the problem is minor or rare, it may not be worth building a solution. So the next after validating the problem is to write a clear problem statement. Once the problem is validated, PMs write a clear problem statement. This statement clearly describes who the user is and what the problem is. Not just that, and why it matters. A good problem statement keeps the team aligned and prevents future creep. It ensures everyone understands the problem before discussing solutions. Importantly, it does not include how the problem will be solved. So, after writing your problem statement, the next step is to explore and test solutions. Only after deeply understanding the problem do PMs explore solutions. They brainstorm multiple ways to solve the problem instead of locking into one idea. PMs test solutions using low cost experiments such as sketches, prototypes, or simple landing pages. The goal is learning, understanding whether users understand, want, and value the solution before committing to full development. So the next step is to decide the MVP, minimum viable product. So this is the final step of product discovery. So the final step of product discovery is simply deciding what to build first. This is the minimum viable product or MVP. The MVP focuses only on solving the core problem validated during discovery. At this point, the team moves into delivery with confidence because decisions are based on evidence, not guesses. Even after launch, product discovery continues as teams keep learning and improving the product. So here are the best practices for effective product discovery. You must embrace continuous learning and adaptation. Continuous learning is crucial in product discovery. Okay? Regularly gather user feedback and iterate on solutions to meet evolving needs, ensuring your product remains relevant and effective. Thank you for watching.